Hello, welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris, and tonight we're covering Chapter 12 of Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. In this chapter, Bonzo, the commander of Salamander Army, I was right, is furious with Ender and is plotting to kill him. The teachers at the school know this is the case, and they purposefully do not interfere so that Ender realizes that nobody's coming to help him and he is on his own. What happens? What are the repercussions? We'll find out right after this.
On that note, welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Chip.
I'm Chris. This might be the first time we've done that in reverse.
Felt the same to me, but
I'm not used to being the caboose, Chip.
I know. I'm just the man in the middle.
Yeah. Anyway, this is chapter 12, entitled Bonzo? Yeah, Bonzo.
Yeah.
So let's dive right in.
Oh, so this chapter got dark.
It did.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So basically, Ender's being pushed to his limits by Graff, and Graff is mentally and physically. I don't know if he's broken him, but he's breaking him. Slowly but surely, throwing all these battles at him. He's got 2 in one day. Just all the odds are stacked against him. So Ender is just getting sick and tired of the games, and I think he says that at a couple different points here. The other thing that we knew was coming from the last chapter was the confrontation with Bonzo, and the way that one is staged. Again, we see how Ender is quick on his feet. Literally too, but thinking-wise and strategically, how he notices ways to take advantage of a situation. So just like in the battle room, in the shower room, he convinces Bonzo that if you're gonna, do this to me, be honorable, just one-on-one. But it basically sets him up for success because the other 7 or 8 kids that are in there supporting Bonzo don't engage, and Ender kicks his ass, and basically. And we find out later that it was a lot worse of an ass kicking than we even realized. So, that's another dark thing. So yeah, when Ender gets promoted to command school at the end of the chapter, we find out on the flight out that there's a 4th passenger in a body bag, and it isn't until after, and Ender doesn't know this, but we find out later that it is Bonzo. That Ender killed him, and we also find out that he killed Stilson in, was it chapter 1 or 2?
Mm-hmm.
That we didn't know that at the time. So again, it's kind of playing on that fear that Ender has. It's I don't want to be Peter, but he's probably done worse than Peter's done at this point. Peter's tortured some squirrels, but Ender's apparently killed 2 people.
2 kids.
Yeah, that's a hard thing too. That we do. It's hard to think of them as kids, and even in some chapters, Ender refers to his group as his men and stuff. But it's like he's a 9-year-old kid. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, this chapter was tough to read just from that dark perspective, but I mean that is also the sad reality of war. I mean, we talk about at the very end how many of the former commanders have graduated. This was sort of like I haven't figured out the graduation process, but it seems like it's kind of whenever the discretion. Yeah. So it's like
he's ready.
They graduated a whole bunch of people at the very end, and everything is changing once again, and Ender is off on his own. He's going to a new place with Graff, and just the entire thing just feels kind of unsettling. Things are progressing almost too fast, out of control. It's getting faster and faster pace. It feels like the writing is picking up. I read this. I averaged. Let's say that I averaged 10 minutes per chapter, like read time. Some chapters were longer, some were a little bit shorter, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. This one, I probably read it in like 2/3 of the time just because it was such a quick read. There was a lot of action in it. It really drew the reader forward. Hard to put down. I thought this was a great chapter, but also a hard chapter to take. So, it's my synopsis.
I thought the interesting thing was that we open it up with Graff basically saying that Ender has to realize that nobody's coming to help him, that he's the one that has to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're in the bathroom and the fight with Bonzo's about to happen, and he realizes the teachers aren't coming, that's when he comes to that realization, like, nobody's coming to help me, I'm completely on my own. And that's when he's like, okay, I need to I not only need to walk out of here, but I need to make sure that Bonzo never thinks about doing this again.
It's the mirror was still saying.
It
Yeah,
is. It absolutely is. And I think that's what Graff was trying to get out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he needs to be able to pragmatically look at a situation and do whatever it takes to walk away from it. And Bonzo paid the price for that decision.
Yep.
Graff did. And Ender did. So.
But the way they've characterized Ender, he's going to find a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
Find whatever leverage he has in any situation to win. And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah. No. Leading up to the fight where he flips on the hot water to make things steamy because he's still got soap on him and he's going to be slipping. I mean, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And he goads Bonzo into attacking him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't make the first move.
Yeah.
He basically says, please, don't hurt me. And just inciting Bonzo to come at him.
It's all very well executed. And then coming off the battle, he has to face two armies at once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he's just like, I am done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finished. Fuck it, I do not care.
Yeah.
Can I say fuck it? I think
Yeah.
I can say fuck it. Mm-hmm. We specifically put these videos are not made for kids.
Probably a wise idea.
But this book is about kids. In battle school.
But didn't
That's
the
true.
sense
And
say
fighting
that they weren't
wars
really
and killing
kids?
people.
You just
True.
said they weren't
I
really
know.
kids.
They are.
Chip, come on.
Now, this is where
Come on.
we really start blurring the lines here between what is legal and what is moral.
Mm-hmm.
We talked again at the very end.
Yeah.
They notice, or Ender notices that that one of the other members of the IF had been promoted to be head of battle school, and it looked like Graff was coming with him. Was Graff demoted? Was he court-martialed? Was he we don't know.
We don't know everything.
But it sounds pretty. It sounds pretty damning if he allowed this attack on a child to happen. That sounds like.
But then again, do his ends justify his means? In that, if this
Right.
bugger threat is real, Ender is the last hope, and they need to do everything they can to get Ender ready for this coming battle.
Yep.
As soon as they can.
And interesting to note that he completely jumped to the pre-command school and goes straight to command.
Yeah.
Right.
What did he say, 4 or 6 years earlier or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
So-
16-year-olds
It's like a Captain Kirk.
Oh, yeah. So if he's 9,
Yeah.
7 years before, right.
Crazy
Yeah.
early.
So that in itself is pretty crazy. I do like the fact that Bean got his own army.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was cool. And I like that whole interaction where Bean came in and Ender was initially pissed and he's like, hey, I got reassigned.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, you're going to that army, the commander's great. He's like, he got graduated.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where, so we talk about, so I've said that a couple times, but Bean is the protege of Ender. Ender has advanced to the age where he realized that the games are not just a game, but it is actually a manipulation trick from the teachers to get them to do certain actions.
Yes.
But we see the cycle continue with Bean. So this cycle is still continuing on, and even though Ender is leaving, Bean doesn't see this as anything more than a game yet.
Mm-hmm.
But what's great about Ender is that from such a young age, the average age of people leaving the school is between 4 or 5, 6 years after they arrive at battle school. They realize that they're ready for being at the next level.
Yeah.
But Ender has realized before all of the others that this is not really a game. This is manipulation. This is war games. But long story short, it feels like Ender has learned the lesson that this is war and it's not for fun.
And speaking of Bean kind of being his protege, I will go ahead and quote Higgins from Ted Lasso.
Mm.
A good mentor hopes you'll move on. A great mentor knows you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I could, you could kind of see in the pages that, when Bean said that, Ender was kind of like, all right. Maybe I projected that, but I was like, he's happy about it. So, maybe not happy because of what he's realized about the games, but there's got to be an element where he's like, yeah, my boy's moving on. So, okay. That was deep. We find out Ender has killed 2 people. Graff, reassigned to God knows where. It seems as though things there are changing.
Well, Ender's got some was it shoreside or landside?
Oh,
time,
yeah.
so he gets to go home
He gets
for-
to go down onto Earth. Yeah.
for a brief period of time. So I don't know if we're going to have a reunion. I thought one of these upcoming chapters is called Valentine, so I don't know if
Oh,
we'll get a reunion.
That would be nice.
I hope. Never mind. I was going to make a correlation, but it would be a spoiler for the Wheel of Time series, and I'm not going to do that to Brian. So,
Well, thank you.
I do like the device that Card uses to get a chance for Ender to go back to Earth, though. I thought that was kind of clever because
Yeah.
they're already in space.
Mhm.
Isn't it easier to just continue on?
right.
Well, if long haul ships can't stop, like if they don't have the facilities necessary, well then back to Earth you go, and then you hop on a long haul ship out to space and
Space
asteroids.
trekking.
I'm going to be a space trucker.
That sounds fun.
That's fun.
That's basically what Han Solo
Han
does.
Solo, yeah. He's
True.
basically a space trucker.
Yeah.
And on that tidbit of knowledge, we will leave you until next time. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that when we post new content, you get notified. Leverage the comment section. Tell us why or why not we are awesome. The answer is we are. But if you want to argue, okay, it's your right. Well, it is.
Mhm.
They have a right to be wrong.
And a party.
They do have a right.
And to voice the wrongness. That's what
But-
happens in a lot in society
But
right now.
maybe they will choose to not be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, I'm done now. We'll see you next time. We're going to talk chapter 13. So stick around, and until next time,